already started filming something and then the camera cut out after like 8 minutes. I'm gonna try again. I'm just gonna do some slow-paced content while folding laundry. If you want to fold laundry with me, feel free to do so. And I'm just gonna have a chat. I feel like it's kind of okay with the camera cut out because I feel like I kind of want to take this chat in a bit of a different way. Because I talked about the other one multiple years back, and I kind of think I want to just reflect a little bit about 2024 and only 2024, and then maybe my hopes for 2025. I think that's a better plan. But I guess we can start about asking about your hopes, which is for 2025 and how 2024 was for you. So if you want to share that, feel free to do so in the comments. You can also share how your day has been thus far. Have you had a good day? Did you wake up feeling rested and amazing? I did not actually. I woke up so tired today. I'm hoping I will have a better night's sleep tonight after pulling this laundry and putting that away and then brushing my teeth and going to bed. I feel like this is probably the best kind of wind down for bed. It's just kind of sit and do laundry. Hold laundry. It's not really do laundry, is it? Currently in the background, I'm not sure if you can see him, but there's a cat behind me here. There's also one on the table. They might move a bit and make some noise. There is also a load of laundry in the washing machine at the moment that might make some noise eventually. And my fiance is currently snoring a little bit in the bedroom, which is just right over there. It is behind the door, but you might possibly be able to hear it. So if you hear some snoring sounds, that will be him. He's asleep already. So I actually find his snoring so adorable. I understand it isn't that common, but he doesn't snore that much, and he doesn't snore all night. And most of the time he just kind of sleeps with he just does like heavy breathing, which I find very calming. I love sleeping next to him. I love that, and just in general, I would say my reflections about 2024. Where should we start? I think I should start with 2024 has been, I guess the best way to say it's kind of started as a rough year. And then it kind of moved into a year of growth, I would say, or betterment of my own health and processing a lot of old things, getting back into treatments, stuff like that. But it started kind of rough, and I guess we should start there. But I started the year 2024 in burnout. Now I had gotten a very, very extreme case of burnout in 2023, and I had had multiple rough years before 2023 as well. They had been rough with moments of easier times, kind of like there was like 2 weeks or a month or almost a month where I felt like I was moving back into being more me, having better health, more energy, feeling less depressed, and just generally feeling better. And then there would be like 1 or 2 amazing events, and then I would just, something would just make me too exhausted, it would be too much, or I would just be straight right back to zero, kind of right back to depression and burnout, and just feeling like everything was too much and like life was proper shit, to be frank. And there was multiple times during that year, and I guess trigger warning for mental health, I'll try to remember to put that in the description as well. But there was multiple times during 2024 where I wasn't directly suicidal, but I also didn't want to be alive, if that makes sense. I wasn't a danger to myself, like I wasn't actually going to kill myself, but I also was depressed to a point where continued living seemed awful, and I just, this is gonna sound horrible, but I kind of just wished I would drift away in my sleep or something and just not have to go through another day. Now I'm kind of very glad that I didn't, but it's a very difficult thing to go through. I also lost a friendship during 2024, which I think, looking back on it, was probably better for the both of us. I hope she's doing better and is growing as well. I know that for me at least, that friendship had been difficult for a while, and then there were this kind of final drama, final thing that happened that just kind of made it impossible for me to see her in the same light after it. And it's kind of sad knowing that happens, because I had been making excuses for her. I had been trying to convince myself that she would get better, that she would change, and I do still hope she does. She had periods where she was better. I don't actually want to get too much into this. I'm not going to say who she is, but it makes me a bit sad. It still makes me a bit sad, I think. Just that entire experience, and it was a long friendship as well. But I do hope she's better, and I know that I'm better. So that happened. And then there were some amazing things that happened during 2024 as well, not just burnout and stupid things. One of my cousins had her confirmation. That is confirmation of faith. I believe it's kind of similar to a quinceañera, but I don't know if it has a proper, I think the only English word is confirmation. So in Norway we have this event so it's a Christian event originally, but you also have other versions of it. My cousin did have a Christian confirmation though, and you kind of just, it's a confirmation of your baptism. So when you're a baby, you get baptized because your parents want you to get baptized, and when you're 14, which back in the old days was kind of like when you were becoming an adult, and kind of still is in a way, you're not really a child anymore at 14. You're obviously still a child, but you're going to be applying for the type of education you want next year. You're gaining more rights because you're older, you're closer to the big like milestones, like being 16 and 18 are big ones, and 21 is a big one. Getting so close to that, and you're kind of so different at 14 from what you were when you were 9 or 10. So it kind of makes sense. It's kind of like this is the start of your adult life, though you're still a child. But she had her confirmation, and that was such a fun event. It was like a family thing. We had like good food, and we did some singing, everyone like all together, and took some pictures, and there were speeches, and mostly it was just incredibly fun to see her on that day, because I have known her since she was a tiny little baby, and now she's growing into an adult, and she's not an adult yet, but it's so amazing to see the young woman she is becoming, and it fills me with so much joy. So that was a very fun thing to experience. And then not too long after that, I got quite tired again and burnt out again. But then I got a bit better, just enough to actually go to, I think it was also partly just because I wasn't as depressed because I was looking forward to this event, but we went to the Era store in May, the concert in Stockholm. We were on the 17th of May 2024. We went on the opening night and got to see Taylor Swift. And I have been, it was me and my fiance that went, and I have been a Swiftie since I was like 11, and that was an absolute dream come true. Probably will be one of the most amazing nights of my entire life. I probably will have others that will be amazing. I'm assuming my wedding will be quite amazing, which is happening this year in 2025. So that's exciting as well. I don't know if I mentioned this at the start, but it's currently January 6th, 2025 while I'm filming this, or it might be past midnight, so it might now be technically January 7th, but I haven't gone to bed yet, so it's the 6th. But yeah, that going to the Era store, that was truly, truly amazing. And then summer came, and you might be like, oh wow, summer, that's gonna be great. I was sick the entire summer with migraines, with severe depression again, huge amounts of anxiety. We basically got locked up in the apartment, and I needed a lot of help from my partner. I was so sick during the summer, and then I will say it went into August before I started feeling better again, and I started to, as we went towards the beginning of August, I talked to my doctor about maybe restarting therapy. I talked about restarting a few other treatments as well, and started going back to physiotherapy and a few other things. I started basically seeking help again, and I got into a therapist towards the end of 2024. I cannot fully remember right now if it was October or no. Was it all the way? No, I'm pretty sure it was October. I might get the dates wrong though, because I often do. But it has been kind of good just starting to work on it again. I also downloaded an app called Finch, which is like, it has like a little bird icon, and it's a mental health app that helps you with self-care and keeping a routine and just being kinder to yourself. And you could also put more goals that suit someone that isn't severely mentally ill. So it doesn't have to be just that. You could put in your exercising goals, or that you want to go on a walk every day, things that you can put in your own goals. You could also put in things that are work related. For instance, if you have projects you have to complete, you could put that in. It's a great planning app, but it has a very good focus on mental health and how to kind of help yourself get better, I feel like it works the best combined with therapy, for sure. I think I said therapist because that's what I mostly hear people say in English, but I guess they're technically a psychologist. But yeah, that has also helped me quite a bit. Just getting into a better self-care routine and having little goals. Like one of the goals that I have every single day is to write a small affirmation for myself. And that started with something so simple as I am worthy of love, was what I would write in this affirmation. Because in my core, I didn't believe that I was. And not because I'm a horrible person, but just because of my past and trauma. And I'm not gonna say that I'm a perfect person either, because I do not believe that. I don't believe most people are. We all have room to grow and heal and be better. And we all make mistakes. But still, I had trauma from all the way back into childhood and from bullying and all kinds of stuff that I'm not gonna go into in detail, at least not in this video. We could go into that another time for sure, but that will be a whole thing. This is gonna be a while to get through it. And also the problem with going through my past is that I have a lot of blurry memories, a lot of because it is so filled with trauma, it's like I have puzzle pieces that are missing in so much of my memory. Just what feels like giant missing pieces. And sometimes it comes back to me from the most random thing, and it will be like I'm living it all over again, because it's something that my brain had protected me against, I guess. And then some random event just brings it back to the surface. But I feel like I've been processing a lot of that as well, actually, these last few months. I regained a lot of hope. Kind of regained a lot of faith as well, to be honest. I might talk about that at some future time, but at the current moment, I don't feel like I want to get into that too much. I really hope the camera is filming now. And I'm not just talking to myself like a crazy person. Not that that would be anything new. This is part of why I will be an amazing YouTuber. I'm already used to talking to myself. All day, every day. And the cats. Is that Tony? Yeah. You can tell the cats are like, this is normal. She just talks to herself. It's fine. It gets so lonely, you know. You're a bit introverted and isolated because of health issues, and then you have no one to talk to because my fiance obviously has work most days, and it's only me and the cats, and I do end up talking to myself a lot. So that's how it is. I guess some people just kind of live in silence in those cases. I do not. I just fill the silence with silly behaviors and little songs that I sing to myself and speaking to myself. So mostly, except for mainly speaking in English right now, this is pretty normal. Which is kind of sad when I think about it. But anyways, so towards the end, after August and into September and October and November, I want to say especially October and November and December, I felt like I had a lot of did a lot of healing. I got a lot of things out. I still have so much work to do in terms of that, and I still have a lot of ways to go in truly believing in my own self-worth and regaining confidence and feeling better about my life in general. But I'm getting there. I'm working on getting there, and it's exciting and it's fun to feel hopeful again. Especially, I think, especially feeling properly hopeful again, because I tried so hard to be hopeful during those difficult years and during really hard and difficult patches, really rough patches, and it was so hard. And I did definitely had like days or weeks or something where I was feeling more hopeful, but it wasn't consistent, it wasn't stable. This time it genuinely feel my words again. This time it genuinely feels like it is stable, like it is something that will continue going in the right direction. I might have bad days, but I don't think I will return back to where I was in July of 2024. Even like back there, I feel like I have grown so much and learned so much about myself and my past and healed, and I guess just processed so much trauma, so much of my old memories, and so many different things. And I've done like the weirdest things, have triggered things, and I've had so many talks with my fiance, and he has been an amazing support in working through my trauma for the entire time we have been together. He knows everything, and I suddenly will remember something and get sad, and I'll talk to him about it. I'm starting to be more okay in terms of my grief. For I guess this is going to be a difficult thing to get into. Maybe I shouldn't even touch on it. I guess I could touch on it a little bit. But me and my fiance decided not to have children. And part of the reason for that is because I am so sick so much. And because of that, not because I wouldn't be a great mom if I had been healthy, because I do believe I have all of the qualities that would make me. I'm very caring and loving and fun. I love like playing and being silly, and I love being around children. But I get so exhausted for such long periods of time, and I have so many bad days health wise, that it wouldn't be fair to a child. I do hope we can be how's that called? Like bonus aunts and uncles type of thing. We have a program for that in the like city. The departments there have programs for that, where families that for different reasons need some help with childcare and stuff like that can apply to have a set of bonus grandparents or bonus aunts and uncles, or you kind of just get, I think you just get the title depending on your age and maybe what you prefer. But just bonus adults. They're not blood related in any ways. And you obviously, I'm assuming you have to apply for this and get approved. I don't know the process yet. But this is a thing where you then get to have a child come and stay with you for a weekend or something like that. I guess it depends on the needs of the families. But I would love to be that. I would love to do that in the future. And I hope I get to do that. Because I can definitely handle being responsible and giving a child the care and attention they deserve for a weekend, and then be exhausted for like 4 days afterwards, and just plan that I'm just gonna need like 4 days to get myself back up again afterwards, after like giving everything for that weekend and just having an amazing time and feeling like I'm truly alive, but also just knowing that I have to plan for the kind of outfall or the consequences of that one. That's the kind of way it is with most things for me, that I kind of have to plan for the consequences. Oh, did you hear that? The cat just did a stretch and did like just made a sound like that. But yeah, that's also part of why we will not be having children of our own, because you can't have a child that you can only care for on the weekends and then need 4 days to recoup, because you don't have 4 days to recoup when that is your child. And it wouldn't be fair to my fiance to kind of leave everything to him. It wouldn't be fair to the child. And I'm not putting any shame on any parents that is sick. This is a situation where I already know how sick I am. I already know how little extra energy I have and time to take from. If you get sickness while you already have a kid, or maybe you just weren't as sick when you got the kid or something, or it just feels like it is something you can handle, because sicknesses take in very different ways. For me, I can get very angry. I don't want to be around anyone when I'm sick, and so that would be very unfair to I would never want to hurt a child of mine by just having to tell them to just leave me alone and that they're annoying, because I am in that moment in so much pain that I am unable to express it in a more gentle way. And children don't really understand that, right? So I'm just afraid that if we had a child, it would mostly remember not being wanted during childhood, and that would be like a worst case scenario for me. I think it's just, I don't think I could live with myself if I made a child feel that way. And so we're not gonna have them. That doesn't mean that it doesn't bring me sorrow, because I always wanted children, and as I kind of said, I do believe I would have made a great mom had it not been for my health issues. And just, yeah, it just sucks, I guess. But I'm starting to process that as well, and being more okay with it, to see the kind of positives and the ways that we can have children in life, which does also increase when I'm more healthy in general, because I'm more able to plan things and have like younger cousins visit, for instance, right? And to just be able to be the most amazing older cousin for them for 1 weekend and then just be dead for 4 days, as explained. So I think like being generally better makes that possible. And there was such a long time where that was also almost impossible. Like I could not have them visit our home and stay here and be responsible for them for a weekend either. Weekend at all? Is that a better way to say it? Just now I kind of lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's difficult to say for me today. But just I couldn't have had them over when I was already so sick. Right, that's the main point. So yeah, just a lot of things. A lot of things that still need to be processed, and a lot of things that have been processed, and I'm just working through it and currently improving and getting there. I think that's main takeaway. I'm getting there. I'm getting better mentally, at least. Physical health, I have less control over it. Though I know that when my mental health is better, my physical health kind of follows, because my mental health, when it's bad, worsens my physical health. So it's connected, definitely. But it doesn't mean that I won't have bad days in terms of my physical health just because my mental health is, or what should I say? It doesn't mean that I won't have bad days in terms of my physical health just because my mental health has gotten better. It just, I guess, makes them a little bit easier to handle, and also slightly less soul crushing. That is a good one. to not have it feel like it's, to not make it, to not, for it not to make you feel completely hopeless, basically. And just, I don't know what's the word for that, but just you also, when I spend less energy being sad, less energy being anxious, I also have more leftover energy to handle my sickness. So when I do get bad days in terms of my physical health, I then am much better prepared to handle those bad days than what I would be if I spent a lot of that energy on worry and on being depressed. If that makes sense. And it should make sense. It shouldn't be that difficult of a concept. I was trying to say project, but that's not the right word. It's concept. Shouldn't be that difficult of a concept. Hopefully I explained it okay. But that's pretty much the, also it's very, my health is very linked to stress, and anxiety is stress. So when I'm more anxious, especially, that very quickly affects my physical health. But when I'm less anxious, it also very quickly positively affects my physical health. But the words are not wording today. It's really not. I'm just, it kind of feels like when I'm talking that it just kind of like blow up in my mouth, and then I just like blah blah blah, and I can't actually speak them. It's so I don't want to say that it's so strange because it does happen often, but some days it's definitely worse than others. And earlier today it was even worse than what it is now. And I filmed a video where I fixed some bras that I have already posted, so they should definitely still exist on the channel when this one is posted. But during that, I was struggling so hard with words. So I feel like it's gotten a tiny bit better at this point during the day, or technically it's in the middle of the night now. I am totally a night owl, by the way. It's completely dark outside. Not that would mean it's night in Norway during the winter, but it is currently nighttime. I'm not 100% sure if it's after midnight, but I'm gonna guess it is. I should probably check the time. See, I should also check that you're still filming. And by you, I mean the camera, not you watching. Oh yeah, we're still filming. We're still good. Okay. Let's continue. I think the easiest thing to do is just take the entire basket and put it down there, and then just move all of the rest of the clothes closer to holding area. Sorry about that. Back in here. But anyways, so after a lot of healing, a lot of processing during 2024, I now feel prepared to continue that, and I started this new project with this YouTube channel, which I have no idea how it will turn out, but I'm very hopeful that it will turn out amazing and that it will become a great thing for, I don't know if it's going to be like for the masses or if it's going to be more like a core audience that really wants to just hang out with me, that wants to relax while watching the fire burn in a fireplace, who wants to maybe watch chill and relaxing cat videos, and just needs, I think what I really want from my channel is for it to be a place for people to find little moments where it feels like they can just breathe, kind of, where it just feels either fun and mostly light, or slow pace and relaxing. And I hope that the fact that I'm talking about kind of deep shit in this video doesn't destroy that feeling, that it instead makes you feel seen, or like things can be very real. I also do think I want to say though that I'm not a professional therapist, so if you feel like sharing things that have been really rough on you in the comments, but you actually need active help right now, I guess what I will ask you to do is to put a trigger warning before writing what you want to write, with what it could potentially be a trigger for others, because others that are reading the comments might not be in the mood for that today. I'm gonna try to put trigger warnings in the description, at the top of the description for this video. I also probably should film a little clip after this and try to put it together, but I don't know editing yet. Oh, I'm gonna have to learn that anyways. Well, I can put it in the top of the description, and possibly try to make like a little like thumbnail with trigger warning and read the description or something, because I understand that some things I talked about in this video isn't the easiest topics, and that if you're not having that kind of day where you can handle hearing about it, even if it's someone else's thing, that you shouldn't have to just click in on. Obviously, the entirety of the internet can't have trigger warnings, and in your life doesn't have trigger warnings. But when you're taking your time at home to relax, and you're just trying to watch something, then you don't need to be exposed to things that you don't want to be exposed to during your downtime. At least that is my opinion on that. And there might be trigger warnings that I have no idea about, and I might not put on videos because I didn't know that it was needed. Well, I can't speak yet. Needed there. There might also be times I forget. I can't promise that I will be perfect in this, but I will try. And I'll asking you if you're sharing difficult things, that I am okay with you sharing that in my comment section, but to please put trigger warnings, and also understand that I might not be able to respond anything more than that I'm sorry that these things happen to you, and that I just hope and encourage you to seek professional help if you are able to, if you are going through depression or anxiety, or just having a really hard time, or you have old trauma. Because I can kind of mention some of how I process some of my trauma too, though. The Finch app is one that definitely helped, And I do recommend that app if you are also struggling with mental health and just in general, because it's a great planning app as well. But I did also start writing things down, like daily life texts about what kind of things that happen to me and how I feel around them, and writing the things down, which I have heard people say that you should do this so many times. And I think I've even tried a few times before and it hasn't worked. Because I think for me, I first needed to talk about it with multiple different people multiple times to even be able to put it into, like, I use the notes app on my phone, just super simple, but just I needed to first talk about it and then I was able to write it down, if that makes sense. So if you're not currently able to write it down or it doesn't work for you, try finding someone to talk to about it, and preferably a professional if you have that opportunity, because they're gonna just have better tools, better knowledge to help you to find something that actually works than someone else would. But I do think there is value in hearing other people that are also having a rough time, not because you're supposed to go, oh, she has it worse than me, or ooh, but just because it's kind of, it feels so lonely when you're going through depression and anxiety and other mental health problems, especially. And I think because it's so hidden, because it's in your mind, it's your brain that is sick, and it feels like it's kind of the essence of you that is sick, because your brain also is so intertwined with you. It is a sickness. It is not anything less of a sickness than having a broken bone, but in a way it's almost easier to heal a broken bone, and it's also going to be easier to talk about. That doesn't mean that everyone who talks about a broken bone knows what that's like, but for the most part it is much less taboo, and I think it's much easier for people to handle you coming to work and saying, I got a broken leg, than you telling someone at your workplace or your school or in your family or whoever you're telling that you are struggling with depression. And also because everyone can have days where they feel a little sad, a little depressed, a little down. It can be hard for people to understand when it's more all of the time. I had a long period of time now where it has felt like the inner core of my soul was just sadness. Like if I actually sat with myself for just a little bit, I would just start crying. I'm about to start crying right now. It doesn't feel like that's my core right now, but for so long it did. And sitting in that can be so lonely, because when you're all smiles on the outside and people think you're fine, they often don't understand how. And there obviously are people that try to, and I'm not going to say that I don't have those people around me, because I'm very blessed in having some amazing people in my life. And not only my fiance, but also I have some truly, truly amazing friends. I don't have that many friends, but the ones I have are amazing and just wonderful. And I have the most amazing mom in the entire world, and she is amazing. And I have a cousin who is also a very close friend, who is amazing, and I can talk to about basically anything, and that has been such a big help. And if you don't have someone to talk to, that would probably be the first thing. And I get that talking about this was hard. That took me also years to be comfortable with, to even talk about it and talk about the things that I went through. And I understand now I'm kind of not saying anything specifically right here, because this doesn't feel like the video where I want to share the why. I just kind of want to share the what, if that makes sense. I kind of want to share the effects on me and my healing process and talking about it and that kind of thing. But I don't want to share anything about why I came to that place, if that makes sense. Why I got so depressed, what thought patterns. I don't want to get into that. Though I might get into that in future. But right now I do not really want to get into that, and I hope that is okay. I guess it's not really your choice, but I hope that you don't feel like I'm just talking about nothing. I guess that it actually still has some value. I guess it was okay if it's okay if I'm talking about nothing. This was mainly meant to be a video to have in the background while folding clothes, and then it turned out into a trauma dump. So I guess I'll have to label this video as a trauma dump so people don't come in here think that it's just gonna be sweet talk about the weather, and then I'm like, and I have childhood trauma and I have been depressed. I mean, it's been rough. Well, maybe I should get into more positive things. But I'm still feeling like I'm moving forward on my healing and getting better in terms of my mental health. And so that fills me with hope. It fills me with a lot more joy. I'm currently not as depressed. Actually, I was depressed just like, I want to say, a month and a half ago. So it's not like it wasn't recent. During that time, I had high functioning depression, or what I would call high functioning depression. Basically, you couldn't tell quite as easily that I was depressed, but anytime I was alone, I immediately fell back into sadness. But during the day, I could get some things done. And then when I needed rest, when I needed to be calm, if I didn't have good enough distraction to disassociate with, I just went straight into a spiral of sadness. It was not good. But I don't feel like that's the way it is anymore. I'm not saying that I won't have days where it could be like that, but I'm not like that every single time I'm alone. I can sit in quiet and film the, for instance, the video with the fireplace and not be a mess afterwards. And I think about 2 months ago, 1.5 months ago, I would have been a mess after being in quiet for that long. And that is probably, to me, the biggest sign that I'm actually doing better. That I can sit in quiet and not hate my life afterwards, I guess. That's a pretty big improvement. And I'm more hopeful. I have hope for that I can do still fun things and projects, and I'm very hopeful about the wedding that's coming up this year. I'm getting married to my fiance in 2025, so that's gonna be a fun thing. I'm gonna be sewing my wedding dress, which hopefully I'm able to document in some sort of video form. I'm not confident that it will be the most amazing video, and it's kind of sad because I'm only gonna be making a wedding dress once. So obviously it being filmed poorly because I'm still learning how to do this thing. It's kind of sad in that case, but I think it's gonna be okay because I'm just gonna try my best, and then I'm gonna try my best to do some editing and make it look at least somewhat decent. And I currently don't know how to do editing as I'm filming this, and I hope this one isn't going to need any editing. Probably it doesn't. Currently I have been mostly filming things that don't need it, but I did film something where it does need some editing, but it's gonna be like very basic editing. It's gonna be like putting different clips together type of editing, and maybe some speeding up parts of the clip and then other parts not. So it's not gonna be that difficult, but it is still things that I don't really know how to do. So it's gonna be something new to learn, which is also exciting. It's exciting to learn new things and just explore these new things, because I have liked filming small videos and taking pictures for a while. Not that I'm amazing, because I don't think that I'm amazing at it, but I just enjoy doing it. And I have been thinking about starting doing YouTube for many years, and then I have been too afraid to do it. I've been afraid to just start it and just not be perfect from the get-go, because that has been kind of where, like, oh no, I need to learn this, I need to do this, I need to lose weight, I need to, right? I had been there before, and now I'm kind of just like, I'm just gonna post it and then we'll see, and I will learn as I go, and then eventually I will be good at it, or at least better than I am now. And the things I'm posting now are perfectly fine. They're not high production quality, but they're very, very. I got the word stuck in my mouth again. They're very real and raw because they're unedited, which is its own kind of beauty. So I feel like it's perfectly fine. And if you're thinking about doing something that you're kind of scared of, I would recommend just trying and letting it be imperfect as you're figuring it out. I would say with maybe the add-on that as long as it's safe. If the worst thing that can happen is that you're a bit embarrassed, then go for it. If the worst thing that can happen is that you die because the thing that you were afraid to do and you wanted to be perfect for was, I guess, bungee diving or parachute jumping, then perhaps do some training first. Yes, I still say do it, but just in that case, maybe do some research. But as long as it's kind of like a safe thing, where the worst thing that can happen is embarrassment, then you can probably just do it. That would be, if you're thinking about writing a book, but you're kind of like, oh no, I need to do some training first, I need to take some classes, then you can absolutely do the classes, but you could also just start writing the book. And then you could do what you can to try to put it out in the world. Like at this point with social media, you could probably post a book in chapters or page by page on Instagram and make that like a whole thing, and maybe like 5 people will see it, but you would get the training in writing, right? And that's kind of the same thing I'm thinking about with this YouTube channel. It's like, it doesn't matter that it's not perfect right now, because I'm learning how to film. I'm gonna learn a little bit about editing apparently, because I filmed some things that I need to edit just a little bit to at least be able to post. I'm learning about how to speak and how to not breathe as much into the microphone, which that it's probably gonna be a thing I'm gonna struggle with for a while. But I'm learning it a little bit, and I'm learning to be more okay with being on camera, which is a big thing. More okay with people seeing me, I guess. I've been very isolated for a very long time because of my sickness or my illnesses, and so just being more visible in itself is a bit of a learning curve for me. Being okay with being imperfect, being okay with babbling and mumbling and struggling with my words, being okay with not having makeup on, looking perfect to film something, being okay with the house, or this isn't a house really, it's an apartment, but the home. Sorry, I just needed to translate it correctly. But that the home isn't perfect, that there's probably some messes somewhere, and there's something that if maybe I could have done that differently and it will look better, and like it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think like letting go of the need for it to already be perfect the first thing you post, that definitely was a bit of a like changing that mindset was a bit of a game changer for me. I think who knows, maybe I'll do other things that I don't know how to do in the future but that are dangerous, where the biggest consequences and embarrassment. I think it also should be more okay for us to be more cringe in general, or more have more embarrassing moments, and just allow yourself to be. And I mean, I guess take that with into your situation. Like if you are barely handling life itself at the moment, then maybe piling on something extra might not be it. It could be, but you obviously should feel how that feels for yourself. Like I know that when I was in the deepest, darkest times, some online embarrassment could have been the end of me. So you do have to, I guess, use your own discernment in terms of what would work for you. But given that you have a little bit of mental stability and you kind of have a bit to go on, and you feel like, okay, I could handle mean comments, I could handle people telling me mean things right now, then I would just say go for it. And also, if you do post something and it do end up getting mean comments, there's no shame in just turning the comments off. There's no shame in just logging off that account and not looking at it again until you're actually ready, or maybe having someone else go in and look at it for you and delete any comments that are negative, or yeah, just anything like that. You can, it's perfectly fine to just also, and if something is not working for you that you tried, it's also okay to just abandon it. Again, not in the thing where it's a danger to life and health. Like, don't abandon your cancer treatment because it isn't, you don't feel like it's working for you. And in the terms like, oh, I don't feel great right now, that's stupid. And obviously don't abandon things like living beings because you don't feel like it's working for you. That's not what I mean. I mean like hobbies and projects and things, or even workplaces. Like obviously I don't have work experience, and you do have to be able to survive somehow. But like if you're unhappy in your work, you can apply for other jobs. You can start to kind of abandon. I guess you'll have to abandon more slowly in that case, to not be homeless and starving, at least for the majority of us. If you have the ability to just quit, I would probably also recommend that if you are very, very unhappy in something. I think the only exception, and this is just a part exception, is to also be aware of whether or not you are unhappy with this thing because you're generally unhappy with something else. Like for instance, you're depressed, and so this thing that used to bring you joy is now not bringing you joy anymore. Maybe like abandoning that then might not be the best time to abandon it, if that makes sense, because you're not fully of sound mind. You're not really. So I guess an example of that in terms of a hobby would be, let's say you collect Pokemon cards, right? And they used to bring you so much joy. You're like, oh my gosh, I got a new Pokemon pack and I'm going to open it and it's amazing and awesome. And you're like, in like that is the best thing. And then you get depressed because life happens. And suddenly opening a pack just makes you sad. And you feel like maybe you start feeling like you don't deserve to open these packs. And I would say at that point you could stop buying the packs for a while, or even in some cases you could continue to buy the packs but not open them possibly. And then on days where you're feeling like this will bring me joy, you open a lot of them, possibly. Just something like that. But I wouldn't recommend to, in that situation, throw out all of your Pokemon cards. Because you're not fully of sound mind. Obviously, if you do that, you could always start the collection over again when you're feeling better. But you're probably gonna be sad that you threw it away. If you are of somewhat sound mind and you feel like, I used to collect Pokemon cards, I don't really want to do that anymore, and you have kind of like be feeling that maybe for a little while, then of course you could sell the collection and just start something else. I'm not saying that it has to be that way for everything. I guess I'm just saying that, like, don't be afraid to try something or to abandon something, or even temporarily abandon. I have so many temporarily abandoned hobbies and projects and things that I like to do that brought me so much joy for a while, and then it stopped bringing me joy. And so I didn't get rid of things maybe, but I just kind of abandoned the hobby for a while. One of those things where I've kind of done the thing with the Pokemon cards technically is painting my nails. I used to absolutely love that, and I still do when I actually take the time to do it. But I currently have naked nails. But I still like collecting the polish, so I have a lot of hollow taco polish, and I got some for Christmas, and that still brings me joy. The actual getting the nail polish bottles, even though I'm not currently painting my nails, it does bring me quite a bit of joy. So I am definitely excited about, what was I saying? I'm still excited about the bottles. That was the point. I'm still excited about collecting nail polish, even though I'm not as excited anymore about painting my nails. Although I sometimes am. Sometimes I have days where I just, I want to paint my nails today, and I love doing it then. But then I also have like maybe several weeks now where I don't paint my nails, and the nail polish I put on has fallen off, and I've got naked nails, and it's just, it is what it is. Perhaps I should start filming painting my nails. That could be good slow TV, I guess. Just the whole unedited several hours of me painting my nails and having a chat. Maybe, hopefully not all of the chats will be as heavily loaded as this one with heavy things. I was supposed to go over to my hopes for 2025. I did mention the wedding, and so my own wedding dress, which will happen this year. The wedding is in August, by the way, so hopefully by that point I have finished the wedding dress and posted a video about it and everything. Or maybe just right after the wedding it will be posted. I guess I'll just have to see. Or maybe I'll film it and then never post it because it got too difficult with the editing. Oh, that was also difficult for me to say today. Who knows? I'm hoping it will be posted, and I'm hoping that the wedding goes smoothly, and I'm excited to have that celebration with family and friends, and I'm just generally excited about I'm excited about the party, but I'm also genuinely so excited about becoming my fiance's wife. I guess I have mentioned his name in some videos, but I'm just unsure if I should like proper name, because I think I've mentioned it in between other talk where it might not be that easy to hear. I doubt he would have a problem with it though. I'm gonna wait until I have a full clearing of whether or not he's okay with me sharing his name in that way, because I guess that is a bit of his choice, what he feels comfortable with. But I'm very excited to be his wife. I'm very excited to be married to the love of my life, the most amazing man I have ever met. And just, he is such an amazing life partner for me. He just, I'm not gonna say it completes me because I don't feel that way. I don't feel like someone you are missing a half, but I feel like we complement each other. It's not like we're broken without each other or only half of something. It's more like when we're together, the both of us just become more amazing. That sounds like I'm just so high on myself. So sorry that came out in a way that makes it sound like I'm just like, yeah, but amazing. Ooh. I didn't mean for it to sound that way. But it's kind of like when you have something that's sweet and salty, or you have, I guess, ketchup on hot dog, or I don't know, soy sauce and sushi, I guess. Just something that when you put those two things together, and the things can be kind of good on their own. I guess with sugar and salt is a good thing. And I don't say because we're opposites, because we're not, but it's just like when we come together, we complement each other so well that we both just, I feel like a better version of myself when I'm around him. And he has expressed to me that he also feels like a better version of himself when he's around me. So it just feels like we complement each other. Like we're just both made better by being around each other. And I do believe a lot of my healing is because of him, because of him loving me, because of him letting me express my past hurt and talk it through, and just we're both each other's support system in that way. And he can lean on me as well. It's just a one-way street where he has to be my unpaid therapist. Like I will also gladly support him, and he has expressed things and talked things through with me, and like he has cried on my chest many times as well. Not that he would cry with most other people, because he's kind of like, he doesn't, I don't think he's comfortable crying around most people, but he does sometimes cry with me. And I hope it's not wrong that I'm smiling, because the reason why I'm smiling is because I feel very loved, that he even feels safe to cry with me, to express his emotions with me fully, to be himself with me fully, and I get to be myself with him fully. And I feel like we just genuinely see each other fully for who we are, with our flaws and with our trauma and with our past. And obviously I didn't know him for all of his past, but he has told me about it, and I know who he is now, and I want to know who he becomes for the rest of his life. I already love the person he was 2 years ago. I love the person he is now. I love the person he will become, if that makes sense. Or at least I guess you can't technically know who someone will become, but given his track record, I'm assuming I will. That's the most stupid way to say something. I'm also very much like that. I'm so, it's probably because I'm autistic. Because I'm autistic, sometimes I have to it's also because I'm anxious, but I just over explain things, or it's like, oh no, you can't put things, you can't say it like it's definite. Like, you cannot know for sure that you're gonna feel that way in 10 years. Just think about you from 10 years ago. She didn't feel this way about that. But there are things where I felt like I will be friends with someone forever, and it has been true, and there has been cases where that hasn't been true. It definitely feels like it is more likely that I will be with him for the rest of my life. I do have faith in that, because otherwise I wouldn't marry the man, you know. I'm so sorry. I had water all over my upper lip. Oh, if you saw that blinking, it wasn't anything scary. It was just Christmas star in the window. I turned myself off because it's on a timer, so it was nothing. Which does tell me that it's currently 2 a.m. and I should definitely be getting to sleep soon because I have an appointment tomorrow that I have to get to. Oh well. 2 a.m. and I'm still awake there. Oh, if this gets copyrighted because of those 2 sentences, then I'm gonna be so sad. Not that it really matters yet, because I don't yet have any monetization on my channel, at least not while I'm filming this, because I just started it, but it would suck to have it like a strike just because of like 2 lines of Taylor Swift song. Oh. But yeah, I guess I'm sorry about my fiance and how much I love him. But I'm very excited to be his wife. I'm very excited for him to be my husband, and for me to be able to say that that's my man and like actually have the paperwork to prove it. And it's not like we haven't been living like we're already married. We have like a contract for our relationship and everything, which is pretty common in Norway. I understand that's not as common in other countries, but in Norway it's quite common for people to just live together and have a contract on how things should be divided if they break up, kind of like a marriage, but they're not actually married. They haven't had a party and a ceremony, and you can make these contracts just between the 2 of you, and there's like templates online for things like how to put in how a home you have together would be divided, and what assets you had coming in and what assets you will have going out. Kind of like, we already have that. We already have the contract, and we already live together and have this home together. So it's not like we need to get married for that part, but I want to be his wife. I want to have the party with the family, and I want to, I guess, just promise each other that we're gonna continue to try our best to stay together, try our best to fight for our relationship even during rough times. We definitely have had a lot of rough times, and not necessarily between us. I would say that the best way to describe it, though, we have our fights. I'm not gonna pretend like everything is always perfect, because I don't think that's healthy. But we mostly have had more like it's the 2 of us, and then everything around us is storming. It's like we are in our own very good with each other, and we're standing in the storm together more than the storm is between us, if that makes sense, for the most part. And I would say like 98% of the time we're great together. That sounds like it's not, I would say we're great together 100% of the time, but then we have fights sometimes. That's what I'm trying to say. We sometimes miscommunicate. We sometimes have days where, and I should probably clarify that the fights are not like they're generally constructive. They're generally something we can easily tidy up. It's generally not about something that is huge betrayal of trusts or something like that. It's nothing big like that, and they're never like manipulative, or there's never like gaslighting or violence or anything like. There's nothing like that. It's just sometimes you're both tired and you start a discussion about something, and then something gets misunderstood, and then instead of it continuing to be constructive, it just starts snowballing, and then suddenly you're having a fight, and then generally what happens is I get so overwhelmed that I start crying, and then the fight stops and we just talk it out until we kind of have started to repair it again. But that has happened like not often. I would say like a fight like that generally only happens maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and then again, as I said, it's never to the point where we're just having very, very damaging ways of talking about things. It's just the way that it is sometimes when you're exhausted and you're both tired and stressed, and then there's some small miscommunication, and we're working on techniques to even fight even less, and fight more constructively when misunderstandings happen. And a lot of the things that have become big fights because of a combination of our own things from childhood, my trauma, my rejection sensitivity, but also he has a lot of fear of conflict and often will kind of agree on something, if that makes sense, and then he will kind of go, because he didn't actually agree, he just said so because he didn't want to fight, and then he will come up with arguments to rehash the thing, and then I will get angry because I feel then instead manipulated, and I feel like we already agreed on this and this is in the past, why are you bringing it up, kind of thing. I'm not gonna get into that too much more. Point being, generally we don't fight. Obviously we have bad days, and the majority of the time, and I would say even in our fights, now that I think about it, even in our fights, I would say we're actually a very good match for each other. The way that we fight kind of makes it so that we don't bring out the absolute worst in each other, if that makes sense. Because I know that I have been in relationship, be that friendships or with family or even people I dated before, where they instead, anything that went wrong was like times 10, because we weren't actually a good match, or we miscommunicated so much, or there was already tension that was built up, just like things like that. And that's not the way that it is with my fiance. If anything, it just feels so emotionally raw and horrible to even have a fight with him, because it just it's like it feels like continues. I know there's a Taylor Swift lyrics that just has that fighting with the true love is boxing with no gloves, and it definitely feels like that, where it feels raw, it feels so unprotected, you feel so vulnerable. Like with other people, I can have some walls, I could like feel like I can shield myself a bit if a fight should break out, or a disagreement that becomes kind of unconstructive. Obviously I'm not talking about like fist fights here, I'm talking about like screaming matches or disagreements that gets too heated, that type of stuff. But in those kinds of situations, I feel like I can guard myself more, because either because the stakes aren't that high, or because it's just easier to guard myself around other people than it is to guard myself around my fiance. The other person I would say that is hard for me to guard myself around would be my mom, for instance, because we're so close and she knows me so well that when I fight with her, or I haven't really had a big fight with her, I think in years now, because we don't live together anymore, which generally solves most of these petty fights. But when I used to live with her, we would have fights sometimes about the most stupid things that would just, for some reason, because we were both tired, escalate. And with my mom especially, it also felt very raw and very vulnerable to have fights, because of I felt so vulnerable with her. I'm very close to my mom. I would say if she wasn't my mom, she would be my best friend, basically. And that is a wonderful thing until you have a fight. Because when you then have a fight, it feels so painful and so raw. And that's the same way with my fiance. It just is so painful and raw whenever oh, my mouth is not doing its thing. It just feels so painful and raw whenever we have a fight. And so I'm so glad that it's a rare thing, because if that had been a continuous thing, then I don't think I would have handled it. I don't think I could have lived in that. And then the worst part is that those kinds of fights, they generally happen when you're already tired, when you're already exhausted, when you already have very little to give. Because part of the reason the fight happens in the first place is because you're in that state. You're in that state where you feel exhausted, where you feel like you don't have anything to give, and then there's the smallest misunderstanding. And most of me and my fiance's fight, and we're not gonna go into what specifically we fought about, but it's almost always the most stupid and unimportant things that just somehow escalates to become much bigger than they should be. It's silly things. I guess I could give an example of something that turned into a huge fight. It's like storage solutions in the kitchen. That's the type of bullshit we fight about. And then there's something about not agreeing on that, and then trying to have a discussion, and then maybe he feels like he's not heard, and I feel like I'm not heard, and then I get very, very, very hurt because I feel unheard. But he also then just agrees to something, and then he starts looking for arguments to use later, and then I feel manipulated and even more hurt and kind of rejected, and like I don't even know him, because obviously he said this 1 second ago, and then it triggers all of my insecurities and anxieties, and especially the ones where I don't feel worthy of even being with him. It gets very much triggered in situations like that. And it's kind of like, because we're tired, because we weren't really ready to discuss the kitchen decor or the kitchen storage solutions or whatever that started the fight, we just start triggering each other's vulnerabilities by accident, I would say. And then it becomes a fight, and then we're both so stubborn, and it's like I can recognize this in myself as well. I'm so stubborn. We're both fire signs as well, which I don't think helps. I don't know if you know anything, but we both basically burn with a passion, and so that can be a great thing in some areas of life, and a horrible thing when you disagree on something. There are things where they're just like, you could discuss the kitchen solution and we both agree and it's no problem, and then there are days where we don't agree and it becomes a huge thing. But it's just like, most days we can disagree and it's fine. So just saying, this is a rare phenomenon, but it still sucks every time it happens. And I think it's healthy to have reflections about that, and about how you fight and how you solve fights, I guess. Because generally we both apologize, we both try our best to do, we both try to promise to try to do better in the future, we both reflect, we both comfort each other once the fight is over. You know, just generally try to be there for each other and try to rebuild what we maybe made. I guess I don't feel like we fully ever tore something down in our relationship during a fight, but maybe it felt less stable. Maybe it felt, because it often do right up after a fight, and so we'll work very good together to kind of make it stable again, if that makes sense. I do feel like we have a great foundation for our relationship as well. With we have a lot of shared interest, a lot of just shared values, and political views, which does help a lot. With just like we vote for the same political party basically, and there are things that we don't have in common. Like we have a lot of interests in common, but not everything. And one thing where we are very different is spirituality and the belief in that kind of thing. My fiance is much more scientific. He's kind of like it has to be proven before I can believe it's type of man, and I'm kind of like no, I'm sensing the energies and I'm feeling the spiritual vibes, and I'm explaining this like I don't believe it, and I'm so sorry, but I don't know how to express it better. I'm much more spiritual. I'm the type where I say, oh, we got bad energy in the house today, I'll need to cleanse it, or things like that, and he'll be like, I noticed nothing. And then it's like, but we have so much respect for each other in that regard. And I don't think we have ever had a fight about religion or spirituality. We pretty much just I do think I got hurt sometimes because I felt like I expressed something that to me was a big spiritual experience, and then he didn't get that it was a big thing. But then he'll apologize once I explain that. And I don't feel like it's ever become a fight. It's more like, okay, that was a bit hurtful, and then we talk about it and move on. But I think he can also feel hurt if he feels like I'm trying to push my religion, my spirituality onto him and forcing him to believe the same, which I don't think I mean to, but sometimes the way I talk about things, it can feel that way to him. And so I understand that as well, and then he can get a bit angry. I think there's one sock over here that I've forgotten. I bet the partner of that one is on the bottom of this pile. Well, I mostly folded all of the clothes, so I guess we should just wrap up. Hopefully, I'm gonna need to watch over this video and see if I said something that I feel like I shouldn't post online. That sounds like I said something horrible, but maybe I just feel like, oh no, that came out wrong, and I won't post it. So that will be interesting. Hopefully it's still filming, because it has been cutting off so much. Oh well, if you did film and you're still watching, then thank you for watching. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to do that, and leave what you want in the comments, I guess. Keep it positive though. I guess keep it positive or keep it real. I guess I'll say nothing like hateful or unnecessarily evil. Thanks. Anyways, I hope you have a good day, a good week, and a good year. Actually, I hope 2025 is your year. I hope it's my year. I hope it's a good year for a lot of us. And stay hopeful and just, I guess, focus on good stuff. Focus on joy and the good things in life. Okay, I hope am I even in frame at all? Okay, guess, okay, bye. I'm gonna have to go turn that up, so that's gonna be awkward.